Over to you, Michael.
Thank you, Reda, and good morning, good evening, and hello to all of you that are attending today. Just to kick off this session, for those of you who are able to contribute to the audio discussion later on, that's great. We look forward to hearing from you. I know not everybody can. Some people are working on duty or don't have the technology, in which case please make good use of the chat window, as you have been doing. So just to kick off, if everyone hasn't done so already, if you can introduce yourself on the chat window and also confirm that you can see my screen, which should have the ambulance PowerPoint presentation on it. So hello to Robert. I think Aaron might be having some difficulty hearing me. Hopefully the connection will be okay. So hi to Will in CCAM, John from the US, Robert, Christoph, Grace. We have a larger group, I think, this evening. So it's fantastic to see so many people still on board and hopefully still soon to complete your assignment as well. A couple of people commenting on the connection, so not a huge amount I can do about that, but if it does disconnect, or you can't hear me or can't see anything, please indicate in the chat window that that's the case, and we'll try and do something about it. Those of you that are mentioning in the chat window, mentioning anything in the chat, we may be reading out and repeating it. This is just for the benefit of those watching the recording, because as Reda said before, it's not covered in the recording if you chat something. So we will be just reading that out loud so everybody is aware of what's being discussed. So great. Okay, so same format as in the previous week. Welcome to week 4. We will be having a very brief presentation just covering the tasks for this week and reviewing where we're at on the course. And then the end of it will be hearing from you guys about your participation. So with that in mind, quick introduction from me. My name is Michael Bradfield. I'm a British paramedic. I work for South East Coast Ambulance Service in the UK, and I'm currently working for the Lebanese Red Cross Emergency Medical Service. So I'm based in Beirut and have been for the last year or so. And I participated in the previous ambulance course last year. So I've been through exactly the same process that you're going through, and I've been involved a little bit helping out with this year. So it's great to help facilitate this session, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you directly later on. So the aim of this, the end of this session, and probably the most important part, we'll be hearing from you. So just to give you a heads up, we're going to ask some of you just to spend 3 minutes to answer some questions. So I'm going to put them up on the screen now just for you to have a look at. What we really want to know is where you're at with your project in terms of how you're revising it. So we'd like you to share something about the feedback you received, whether it's helpful, whether it's not been helpful. Hopefully it has been, and it's been constructive for you. And really just tell us what changes you've made to your project. From this morning's group, from the Red Group, we had some really good summary from a couple of the team who told us about how they'd fundamentally changed what they were doing in light of the feedback they've got. A couple of others have made some small changes. A couple of people had some conflicting feedback, and we discussed how to address that. So whatever your feedback was, positive, negative, or otherwise, we'd like to hear from you and learn about how you've changed your work this week, and of course changes that will be ongoing as well. So we'll come back to that. What we're going to do is just focus on a couple of points of administration for this week. So where are we? We're in week 4. Well done to everyone who's still here, and it's great to see such large numbers still taking part. We'd like to highlight a couple of other dates that will be coming up, one of which is the fall 2017 course. So we're in the summer course that you can see on the screen here, and we're moving towards the course end date, and we're going to discuss dates for that in a moment. There's a second course running this year in the autumn or the fall, which will focus on a slightly different component to this one. So it will be looking at analysing incidents of violence and risk. So there'll be more of a case study rather than sharing best practices. So a slight variation on this. So we'd like to encourage you to help us disseminate the announcement for this, and we'll tell you how we're going to be doing that. Same format, but just different date range and a slightly different subject. And so we'll be looking at disseminating this and utilizing your networks in order to do that. We also are introducing some ambulance webinars as well, where we're going to be looking at problem-solving specific security or violence challenges. And these are going to be announced sort of going forward as well. But if that's something you might be interested in, then kind of watch this space, because we'll be looking at introducing this later in the year. So more stuff coming. If you've got the ambulance bug now and you're keen to be involved with the community moving forward, there will be opportunities to do so. But what we're going to do just for the next part of this session really is just to focus on what happens next for us. So we're in week 4. Where are we at? What do we need to be doing? So one thing to do is just to work backwards from the end of the course. We're going to talk about the commencement event. So what this is the really the celebration of the work that you've been doing and your successful completion of the course. There'll be an event where you can present your work. You can attend, your colleagues or families or anyone else that may have supported you as an emergency service worker or through this event, and you'll be presented with a certificate. So the date for that is the 12th of July. And it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon Geneva time. We realise not everybody is going to be able to make this, but we would like as many people as possible to attend. It will be an opportunity just to summarise the work we've done. We'll be asking many of you just to make a very short presentation of your work. And for those of you who've been working hard and wondering what your colleagues have been up to and want to read or learn about their case studies, this will be the opportunity to do it. So this is the kind of the fruits of our labours in some respects. So we would very much encourage you to sign up, but you won't automatically be signed up to this. You'll need to actively sign up for it. So please register for this event. As Hannah's just mentioning as well, this is the English one. There's an Arabic one on the 12th of July, which is probably not relevant to most people attending the English group session, but in case you are attending this, but also considering the Arabic one, there is a separate one for that as well. So please make a note in your diary, 12th of July. And also remember that you do need to actively sign up for this. You won't be able to automatically attend it, so please register for that, and we'll tell you about to do that. So same day but different time for the Arabic one. Thank you, Rita, for pointing that out then. So both on the 12th of July, but different times. So what will happen at this is there'll be a chance for us to meet up again together, be able to present your work, and you'll be presented with a certificate which will look a little bit like this. So this is the invitation to the commencement event, but this is also the same format that your certificate will be in. So very impressive design that was distributed to those who successfully completed the course last year. And you can register online using the link on this page. This is also available in the materials section of the GoToTraining control panel that you can see as well. So you can download this and you can share it with your friends and colleagues, and you can also use the link that's on here for registration. So please, at the end of this, make sure that you register and that you're able to sign, if you're able to sign up and come along, because we'd really like to see you at the end of it. It was a really nice session last time to have everybody together, so it would be great to see as many people as possible again. So that's one date that we have in mind. Another important date that's coming up, which hopefully we're all focused on this week, is the final one for this course, which is the final revision deadline of the 30th of June on Friday. So you've successfully, if you're still here, you've successfully drafted, given feedback under the peer review and submitted your first project, and now you're working on the final one. So well done to all of you that are still here and are still doing that, but this is the last little bit now. So having come this far, please make sure that you submit your final version on the 30th. So this is the last big deadline that we're going to be facing this week. And this is the last slide like this that we'll be showing. So just a reminder, we're not granting extensions for this. It's really important that you submit it. And it's midnight Geneva time, so check wherever that is for you, as you did for the previous one, Friday. And just in case there's any confusion about that, that's the end of Friday day. It's essentially 23:59 on Friday, moving into Saturday, if you happen to be in Geneva. So please check that and make sure that it's submitted on Friday. Okay, so I think just to end this session, we're just going to summarize what we need to do for this week. We love a good checklist in the ambulance community and in pre-hospital care generally. So we've got one here for you now, so you're not disappointed. So what we want you to think about today and these last couple of days is to reflect on the feedback that you've received. Make sure that you've reviewed your draft project and tried to incorporate the feedback into that. We're going to hear from some of you in a minute about how you've done that. Have a think about what you're going to improve. And probably very importantly, make sure that you've set aside some time. So please don't leave it to the last minute on Friday unless you absolutely have to, because we don't want to see people miss out on completion of this having got so far. And the other important things to do, as we've already mentioned, are to register for the commencement events. We're really hammering this point home that you do need to sign up for it. We want to see you there. And also, we don't want to lose you. So having been involved thus far, you're the very dedicated people who've got through to this point, and we want to hang on to you and want you to be involved moving forward. It is a community. We've called it that very deliberately because it's not just about taking part in the course and then leaving. We'd like you to sign up moving forward. So please, once you've got this next bit out of the way, have a think about how you might want to be involved. I know a number of you in the pre-course poll have already indicated that you want to stay involved and how you might go about doing that. So there'll be more coming from us in the coming weeks as well, so that you can stay a part of that if you wish to do so. Good. Okay, so I think that's enough from me. We're going to move on now to hear from you guys about how you're getting on and how you're revising your project. So what we're going to do is we're going to set a timer of 3 minutes, and we're going to invite any of you who are keen to do so. We're going to open up your microphone, and you're going to talk to us and tell us about how you're revising your project. So you don't need to sum up the whole thing in 3 minutes. You don't need to necessarily tell us what it's about. We just want to know about your experience of the feedback, what was good, what was bad about it, what was useful, what wasn't, and how you revised your project. And then if there are any burning questions around how you should revise it or what to do about certain types of feedback you may have received, then we'll discuss those as a group as well. So in order to do that, then we need some volunteers. So if anybody is willing just to step up and just quickly talk about this, about their project and how they've got on with the revisions for it. If you could just in the chat window indicate that you're happy to speak, or you can raise your hand to say that you're happy to speak, that would be really useful. The consequences of not doing that is you have to listen to me talking on, and I don't think anybody wants that for another 30 minutes. So I know it's a bit daunting sometimes speaking in front of a group of people you haven't known, but we even managed to get the small team this morning doing it. So Aaron, you've made a comment there which I'm not going to repeat for the benefit of the recording, but I think that pretty much volunteers you though, doesn't it? So are you happy to tell us, Aaron, how you're getting on? Is that okay? Have you got a microphone? Are you able to do that? Aaron is out of the equation. He can't do that. So we've got one down, but John is happy to do it via chat. So you'll start with me, but John very kindly is going to give us some feedback. So thank you, John, for stepping up. He's going to do it. So I'm going to read out what John's writing for the benefit of the recording and for everybody else listening who might not be looking at that. So John says he's in the final stages of revising his project. Feedback's been extremely helpful. How is that the case? He says he was a little lost on his local practice and got off track. I think that's probably something we can all relate to. And he says that the reviewer pointed out my mistakes, and I'm using that to rewrite my local practice. The feedback's been very helpful, and he's working on the final version now. So that's great, John. Thank you for that. That's good to hear, and that's exactly why we incorporate this peer review and this peer feedback into this process. I think it's very easy when you're immersed in a particular context to without knowing it, just make assumptions about the knowledge and understanding of those reading it. So if you have had any feedback like that, saying, look, I don't quite understand, or maybe you've not quite fully explained what's going on, please do bear that in mind for the native reader of your piece of work. So that's great, John. Thank you very much. I'm pleased to hear that. Edwin has raised hand, as has Robert, so we'll come to each of you in turn. So Edwin, I'm going to, if my computer will allow. There we go. Okay, Edwin, can you hear me? Or can we hear you rather?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You sound a little bit underwater, but hopefully the rest of the guys can hear you as well. So I'm gonna, if you're ready, Edwin, I will start the 3 minutes, and please let us know how you're getting on.
All right. I understand you can hear me. Well, my name is Edwin Leon, and I'm joining from Quito, Ecuador, in South America. It's 1 p.m. here, 1:16. And how I'm revising my project? Well, first when I saw the grades I got, I thought, well, I didn't know I could grade like 3.3 or something like that. And then later I realized that it has to be the combination of the 3 grades I got. So, well, I'm revising my project taking in consideration the how do you call it, the suggestions I got, and those are really good. I think I didn't realize a few things about my project. The important feedback I received is that maybe my wording was not clear enough. I was including many examples, and I was not clear about the risk. The feedback has been very helpful. I'm making the changes to my project, and it's been helpful because it made me realize that I was not clear enough. I had to focus on one risk. I think I was including several risks in my project, but I focused now on just one risk. I'm making the changes necessary to my project right now. I'm still making them. I'm still working on the changes, and if I gained anything that will change how we work here, probably not, because my risk is physical assault to ambulance crew members, and I focused on calling the police. That would be my my response to prevent this risk. So calling the police, I think it's very very clear. It's very clear that it's something you need to do. So I don't think I'm going to change this, because you have to call the police when you detect or you are unsure about the safety and the risk involved in a situation. Okay, I think I have 15 seconds left. I don't know if you guys have any questions.
Well, thank you very much for that. That's very useful, and I'm glad to hear that the feedback was useful for you. I think it's difficult sometimes to mitigate against everything. I know we talk about how you prevent or try and minimize the risk of something occurring, and you're right. Sometimes you just have to respond to it, and it may be that you just have to contact the police, and it's not possible to always prevent these things. But it's useful if you have any strategy to minimize the risk of these things occurring and share it. That's great. But you're right. We can only reduce it so much. Sometimes we just have to react to the situation in the best way we can. But thank you, Edwin, for sharing. Does anyone have any questions for Edwin about how he's used his feedback? Okay, yeah, and Aaron's just saying on the chat here that he found Edwin's sharing very relatable. So I think, yeah, you've got a lot of probably a lot of sympathy about that from other people as well. So we're going to go to Robert in a second, who I think has been unmuted by the team. But I don't know, Robert, whether you also need to unmute yourself as well.
Yeah, Michael,
so Robert, can you hear me? Yes, we can. Fantastic, good work, sir. Thank you. So yeah, please go ahead if you're ready.
Yeah, great. So the feedback that I got, I only got 2 reviewers, and it was a little contradictory. And one said a lot of good things, and one said like some other things. So the feedback was good, but it was kind of opposite. Probably the best feedback I got was utilizing or defining certain terms that might not be common to everyone across the globe. So I'm coming to you from Colorado in the United States, and so some of the information in my project was specific, obviously, to the United States or how we train here, and some of the acronyms were not common to some of the reviewers. So I'm revising that. I think it is important, and Rita said it last week, that when we have people to do this, you really do kind of need 3 reviewers, so you have sort of a balance of that, because I have 2 reviewers that are on opposite ends of the spectrum, if you will. So I am making the changes in my project for the verbiage, so it's more clear, and that's what I have to say.
Great. Okay, thank you. I think you've raised a couple of very important issues there. Well, one to do with how we provide feedback, and I know we stressed early on it's really important if you submit to also do all the peer reviews that you're asked to do as well. And it is a bit frustrating if you end up with an even number and the 2 of them are conflicting. Certainly, we had that discussion this morning. Someone raised exactly the same point, that they had 2 pieces of feedback that were kind of polar opposite, really. So they then raised the question, well, what do I do? I'm being told to do one thing by one and one by another. I think because one of them had suggested that it was too lengthy and too detailed, but they felt they really needed to explain their context in order for it to be understood. So it's a bit like movie reviews in some respect. It is subjective. It may be that one person likes your writing style and gets what you're trying to say, and it may be that another person doesn't. So I think what we're encouraging everybody to do is as you've just described it very, very nicely, that you should take the feedback, think whether or not, reflect on it, think whether it's fair, whether it's useful, and as you've done, make any context appropriate adjustments to make it more understandable. But it is, after all, it is your own piece of work, and it is going to be describing your own practice in a way that you think is appropriate. So if you find that someone has some constructive changes and you can make them, that's great. But if the criticism is not specific and conflicts with what somebody else is saying, then that's kind of harder, isn't it? So I think we do sympathise. I remember doing my case study. I had a similar thing that had some, in one section in particular, one thought it was a good summary, one thought it was overly lengthy and needed to be more succinct. So at the end of the day, there will be an element of subjectivity to it, but that's a good point. So thank you very much for stepping up and sharing that. That's useful. And good luck with the rest of it as well. So while we're waiting for that's great, thanks. While we're waiting for someone else to volunteer, Aaron, who I think has no microphone access but is keen to contribute, has said that his case study circles around a fairly common theme of terrorism, and he's received consistent and productive feedback, and he's restructuring some of it to make it more concise and easy to understand. So I think that's quite a common bit of feedback we've got for all of us, just to make sure that for the person looking at it for the first time, that it's easy to understand, which can be difficult in a short assignment of talking about a complicated issue. He says that he's very concerned about the early discussion on security threats and safety issues, but his thought process is clearer now. Having read the discussion threads in the community page, so of course that's another very good source of feedback as well as the specific bits we've got. I know it's useful to discuss this with other people. So Aaron, thank you for that as well. Peter has either volunteered or been press ganged by Radar into contributing, so thank you for that. Oh no, you've got your hand raised. Good man, thank you. So Peter, can we get you to open your mic as well then? Aha, okay, Peter, can we hear from you?
I think I can get you very clear, Mr. Mikhail. Now I'm connecting one-on-one from Kenya, Nairobi City. Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Peter. Yes, thank you very much. You've got your 3 minutes now. If you'll go ahead, that's great.
Okay, thank you. Now I received my feedback and they were very much good according to what I see now. And I was just to point out just a few things. The review of my project just wanted me to exactly elaborate on what are the exact risk of the crews while responding. Now I was able to point out that the ambulance crews, as they responded to the scene, for example, the scene or rather the project which I picked about the terrorism attack, is that all the ambulance crews from the agency, from the organization of the crews responding, I was able to identify and edit my project. But now I pointed out that before the crew respond, what we should do is that have enough information about the place we are going, whether it's safe, and then from there we have to involve the law enforcement before we respond. And then the changes here media is that they also wanted me to make a couple of changes that the local solutions which I gave out the first time, I was expecting to elaborate them very clear, which I made it from the beginning. But now I was able to point out that my local solutions, which were laid down here by the organization from the control room, that the crews who are responding are very much better, or they should read the organizations, read down protocols in collaboration with that of the police, and getting awareness of such kind of situations. I think that during this time of terror attack, during that time, many people didn't have enough information about terror attack. Now, when it took place in my country, many people lost their life, and especially the crews and the lay people didn't know. So our organization set down really protocols that when we have such kind of shootings, we shouldn't revert back. We shouldn't refer back to what happened the years that went. So those changes, I made them that no one should go to any shootout without first considering what kind of shootings is taking place. Now, the local solutions and practices here, I written them very clear that now any shooting which has been reported in any building, in any community, we have first to involve the law enforcement. We have also first to ensure that the scene is safe for we to be able to respond. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay. Okay, yes, Peter, thank you very much. Yeah, and I think that's probably a local solution that could be applied in a number of different contexts, because as you say, that's something that many countries face problems with, so it's good to hear you discussing how that would work in practice. And how did you find the feedback you received from the peer reviews in relation to that? Was it useful? Was it constructive?
Yeah, my feedback was very much constructive. I understand them it very clear, and it was according to what I realized. Okay, before the beginning of the project, I was not able to point it out clearly. I thought that I've just written something which is good, but after going through the reviews, I realized that there were some mistakes which I had to rectify. And through those few peer reviews, I was able to correct them. I rated them, and I rectified them. I think, okay, they are helpful to me, what I see. Without those peer reviews, I could not be able to identify the mistakes.
Okay. That's great. Thank you very much for the detailed summary there, and good luck with the rest of your project. That sounds like it'll be a very interesting one to read. So thank you for contributing, Peter. Romeo has his hand raised. I don't know, he wants to come in and follow up on that. We can just. Okay, Romeo, can you unmute yourself? Great. Okay. Hi. Good to hear from you. Thanks. Go ahead.
Good evening to everybody, and I just want to appreciate all the feedback that I received. My work, and I'm thinking of can I ask and get this opportunity if how can I revise it, because I submitted it and not in a time.
Okay, sorry. So you've revised it, but you've not. You're worried you're not going to be able to submit it in time. Are you saying, or you didn't manage to submit it last week?
Actually, while I'm reviewing the review at the time, and then I'm looking on the comments and everything, because I'm using my phone and everything that time, and actually they said that just I can submit it, and while I'm browsing on everything in our Scholar, I can see where is the unsubmit button on that. So I'm sorry to get your time, but I'm just running out of time because I'm at work. Sorry.
Okay, you need to unsubmit it. Is that correct?
Yep. And if there's anybody that can walk me through with the
yeah, I think we can do that. We're reaching the you've kind of nicely moved into the post-discussion tech support phase anyway. So we're going to be hanging on after this discussion now to give you any help with that. So if you stay in the session, Romeo, I think we'll be able to help you with that, because that's exactly what we had in mind. So
okay,
no problem
I
at all.
appreciate that.
Okay, yeah. So we are now just at half past the hour. So I think we've covered all the things that we needed to from the first part of this, and thank you to everybody who's participated. And I will hand you over to Reza now, who's going to talk to you about some next steps.
Thanks. Thank you, Michael. Yeah. So, and thank you for some great facilitation. Thanks to all of the folks who made presentations. Let me make myself presenter again. And this is always kind of buggy in, I think, as Michael discovered. Let me see. Yeah. All right. And I would like to just want to highlight sort of what happens next, because we're just halfway through the final week of the exercise. And first of all, to commend the folks who are, yes, who've survived, and they're still with us in week 4, as Michael said. Not everybody makes it. This is not the kind of course where you just show up and get a certificate for having shown up. Obviously, you need to put in some hard work, and you all understand that now. And it's so what happens next? I'm showing you this page, which is probably one of the ways in which you probably saw at some point. This has got a ton of information, but it's basically to give everything you need to know, or potential participant needs to know, about what we're doing, when we're doing it, how we're doing it, why we're doing it, and so on. And the reason I'm showing it to you now is because it's actually on the 28th of August. We know for some folks, yes, it's not the fall season, so we've taken to calling it the September course. But the orientation will start on the 28th of August. And 2 things. Would really like you to, join us again. Continue this. The September course is different, has got a different project, has got different activities. We'll still be using Scholar, we'll still be using, you'll still be developing a project, sharing with your peers, going through that same process. So I really want to encourage you to join up. You'll be receiving messages, and you can actually join the September community now. So let me put in the link here for you. Right now it doesn't have the ambulance icon, but okay. Right, so one of the, okay, is that better, John? Yeah. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. Sometimes the window, the window sizes are too small. So this is the September community. So if you want to go ahead and join, you can see there's already some folks such as Irene Opio, Radu, Daria, Abdullah, Meyer, Salah, who've already been sort of the first ones in, even before most of the course team. We're hoping that the September course will be for the first time, really that a number of the A-team volunteers who've contributed this to this exercise, such as Michael and Irene and many others, will be will have an even more active role in leading the September exercise. So they will truly be led by frontline practitioners for frontline practitioners and supported by the organizations and partners. So if that sounds interesting, we need you to be there, and this is a second part. We need you to work on getting the word out. We had actually fewer English language speakers join this time around than last year. We had, and conversely, due to some exceptional leadership, we had the largest group of Arabic speakers. And of course, I'm referring to Hannah's work in mobilizing and supporting the Arabic speakers in the course. I'm convinced that there is that kind of leadership for the other language groups. So would very much encourage you, Yosa, to work on, help us figure out how we can support you to get your organization, your colleagues, your professional networks on board, and to recognize the value of this, to help us improve it and make it even more useful and relevant to your work, so that by the time in the next 2 months, so that by the time we get to the orientation, we could be hundreds. We've run Scholar-based courses with over 400 participants, and the more the merrier, I would say. So there is no limit there. Unlike most traditional trainings where there's only a limited number of seats and it's more about selecting who's in and who's out. Just to mention, we're also thinking of doing something for more senior practitioners, so maybe setting up a kind of master class. So it would be the same Scholar project, but it would be reserved for people who've successfully completed a Scholar 1 exercise and who have at least sort of a minimum number of years of experience. That's something we're discussing in the course team and looking for feedback. If that sounds interesting, we appreciate the diversity. So mixing, you might get reviewed by someone who has less than 2 years experience when you've been out in the field for many years, or vice versa, and that can be really productive, but there might also be a need to work on more specialized and technical stuff amongst more senior practitioners. So that's one of the other things we're considering for the September course. So I'm sharing all this kind of ad hoc. I just want to we're going to push out another post-course feedback survey. We're going to be asking for your feedback, and very much appreciate the level of response we got to the mid-course feedback. That last one is especially important. It's how we evaluate how we did, and it's where you get to tell us anonymously what we need to do to improve. And there was certainly overwhelmingly positive feedback, but we're also we're going to reach out to the people who didn't finish the course and ask them to what happened to see how we can support them better in September. So those are some of the things we're thinking of. I would love to hear from some of you as to what the status is with respect to your colleagues and your organization. Do you think that some of your colleagues will be interested and will join, or yes, and where are you? Does your employer, does your organization, the National Society recognize the value of this training yet? What can we do to support you in that respect? And I see a message from John saying, I'll pass this along. I'm on the truck and have a call. My relief has to leave, so this happened this morning too. Yes, and in fact we are, over the mandatory time for the discussion group, which is just 30 minutes. So if you need to go, please feel free to do so. Hoping to have this kind of discussion. If you can, anybody would like to share where they are at within their organization. The last thing I'll say before, yes, is language cohorts. If you can get together 12 people who speak who want to write their projects in the same language, that's not one of the current 3, and a team leader who's willing to take responsibility for leading that group, supporting them in the way that Hannah has for the Arabic group, or in the way that Juan and Agnieszka have for the Spanish group, then we can set up the group where the group will work in that language. So just and let me just unmute Christophe, because we had a discussion with respect to German Red Cross and possible creation of a group that would write in German, where there's some issues, and it's just perspective at this point. But I'd love to hear your feedback on where you stand with respect to your organization support, whether you think your colleagues are likely to be interested, and on what basis in this in the upcoming September exercise. Christophe, can you hear me and unmute yourself? And anybody else who'd like to chime in on how they're doing. There's already been a lot of work done by the A-team volunteers, so completers who finished last year's course and who really helped out with dissemination, who really helped get the word out. We're looking at how to improve that further. Any comments or feedback? Okay. All right, Robert.
Hey, Rhoda.
Yep.
Yeah. Would that be the link that you put in a little earlier? Was that it? Brings me to the page. Is that I've already signed up for that? So I just have a question. Is that right on the left-hand side where I would just have them sign up?
No. So the page to send people is the learning.foundation/ambulance.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. I see that. That's perfect.
They can find the registration link. Yes. And we make it's not, we do ask for a lot of information on the application form. We figure that if people are not willing to, take the time to go through a form, they're not going to survive, 4 weeks of activity. So that's kind of, that's one of the barriers, but it's kind of intentional. Again, we're looking for feedback. So if you see some great colleagues who would do, who are excited about the course, but they get turned off by the long application form, that's the kind of feedback we need to hear. If it's actually holding us back, it's one of the things we've considered. But Robert, can you tell me, so do you think, have you sort of identified or gotten feedback from colleagues who could potentially join the September exercise? And what's the status on your organization support for this for this kind of activity?
So our EMS chief was the one who forwarded it to me, and I tried to get 2 of my lieutenants to do it, but time restraints were close when we got the original invite from him. So I've been talking to my crews about it, and have had some people express interest. So that's why I wanted to be able to get the link and send them and ask them to apply for the fall course. So
Okay.
yeah, I think we'll probably be able. You know, we have 170 people in our department. We'll probably be able to get, I would think, about, we have 42 paramedics, probably half of those to get in at least.
Okay, that would be amazing. And how would you recognize, you know, if they survive and make it to the and obtain a certificate from the International Federation of the Red Cross? Will your organization be able to recognize the value of that, you know, of what they've done?
Oh yeah, we do multiple trainings all the time, and it's truly a focus of what we do here. And considering 80% of our stuff is pre-hospital emergency stuff, regarding patient care and safety and risks and stuff like that, it's really big, and that goes all the way up the chain of command at our establishment. So.
Okay, because one of the things some of the research we've done has shown, people have reported back that through the activities in the course, they feel they have improved their security awareness and their level of preparedness. You know, so we'd be very interested to see if, you know, within your organization you have ways to assess that exist already, and whether you know, so there, you know, it's hard to do, but if we could find the you know, so actually show that, you know, participation in the course like this, connecting to all these different perspectives, thinking about this stuff, you know, actually makes a tangible difference for people, you know, makes them better at their work. You know, and so any you know, for Robert or any anybody else whose organization has the capabilities to assess, you know, performance and preparedness, we'd love to discuss that further with you at some point. And it's also really important in terms of recognizing, you know, giving people the credential, whether that's professional development credits or whatever the system may be in your organization or in your country. And every system's different, so there can't really be a global or an international, you know, credit. Yes. But we're very interested in you know, in sort of both documenting the value and making sure that people get recognized for the effort they put in.
So this is Robert again. So yeah, we would definitely want that get obviously continuing education credit, which goes towards their certification that we have to do every 2 years in the United States for National Registry. But also we have the ability to after we do classes that we think have an impact, we tend to send out a survey monkey at like 3 months and 6 months, a survey to them that's anonymous that says, do you think these things have impacted, how they impacted you, that kind of stuff, to get feedback on those. So we try to do, you know, data is really how you change the direction of your organization. And so we try to get that data to make things, okay, was that useful? Was that helpful? Do we need more like that? Things like that. So yeah, we have a couple of things in place, but any other ideas that are out there, we would be willing to try out as well.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's great to hear, and that interest is shared. We are going to go back to the October ambulance crew to ask them some questions about what they've you know, what difference, if any, they got from their participation then. So that's definitely a shared interest. So really, you know, we want to know, I mean, the other question that we sort of discussed after the October courses, it seemed that, you know, there's a small proportion of folks in an ambulance organization that are going to get excited by the idea that they're going to be connecting with colleagues from all over the world. But there's also a proportion of people who are just going to say, okay, that's interesting, but what difference does that make for me? Yes, and we actually had one participant in one of the WhatsApp groups actually say, you know, if this doesn't put food on the table or somehow directly benefit me, I'm not going to do it. Yes, that person, of course, did not stick it out. We just want to recognize that. So obviously that's not the perspective this course takes, but we'd like to figure out sort of ways to add to the incentive so that even those colleagues who are thinking in very crass, very crass terms, what's in it for me, will look at the ambulance initiative and say, that there's value for whether they're thinking in terms of self-interest or whether they're thinking of contributing to a global effort. We'd like to figure out how to do that. So if you see any resistance from your colleagues, we'd like to hear about that. What are the reasons? What are their objections? What are the barriers to their participation? And then if you see people get excited, we're also interested in that, and we'll see it, of course, because in some cases, we very rapidly say, as you said, Robert, as soon as there's a sort of influx of participants, we know where we know somebody's been doing some of the legwork. And in fact, I want to show you a couple of the tools we set up with the A-team earlier this year. So this is a what we call a dissemination register, and we'll be asking you. So we'll first be asking you. Let me go do the steps in order. So for all the folks who complete and submit a final project, you'll be receiving an invitation to join the course team and help us prepare the September exercise. So we ask you lots of questions about why you want to join the course team as a volunteer, if you're interested in becoming a team leader, how you want to help prepare the course, and we have some very specific things, but we're open to other suggestions. We're working on a formal letter for people who become course team volunteers, a formal letter from the ICRC, the IFRC, and Norwegian Red Cross, basically saying, yes, this person, the person who has this letter, is has committed to volunteering to support this initiative. So we ask you all these questions, and then with respect to dissemination, which is really going to be the focus for the next 2 months, in July and August, every time you share the course announcements with colleagues, with a professional organization, you post it on the website, you send it out on a mailing list, you do a posting on Facebook. We ask that you just estimate. It can be a wild guess, whether it's 1, 10, 100, or 1,000 people that you think are going to see this that you just put out. We just ask you to let us know. We try to, questionnaire is really short, so it's really, if you don't have time to do it, we understand you have other priorities, but if you can, it's going to give us, it's going to help us measure how many people we're actually reaching through your efforts. So it's also a way of recognizing the effort that you're putting in. So we'll be sharing these links, in sort of emails that will be coming your way. So that's just the dissemination register, the questionnaire to actually get you signed up for the to join the course team volunteers, and then. Back to this page. This is the page you want to point people to, and then from here, obviously, they can apply in the 3 different languages. And we've actually already updated the onboarding page. So this is actually a step where we lose a surprisingly large number of people. We're trying to figure out what's going on exactly, why we lose so many people. So, for example, from Ecuador Red Cross, we had 93 participants registered, which was amazing. And I think maybe 3 or 4 of them actually, or 2 made it. For Magen David Adom, so the Israeli Red Cross, we had 25 participants, 4 made it. So we lose a lot of people at the onboarding step. We're trying to figure out why. And we've built this onboarding page. It's already available and now leads to the September community. So if you know people who have applied and you want to help them along, colleagues in your organizations, feel free to share the onboarding instructions page directly. And if there's any way, if you have any feedback on what the failure points are, let us know, because we'd like to fix those and make sure that anybody who wants to is actually can actually join up and follow through. Yes, and Edwin, that's much appreciated. I would be interested in following up on the Ecuador and yes, Enigma, because we had 2 participants who completed the course last year from Ecuador Red Cross. They both volunteered for the course team, and then at one point they just stopped responding to email messages, so we were not able to follow up. So I'd very much appreciate your support there. So so that's where we're at. We've got, you know, so 2 months, and I do want to say, I know that, you know, so I've seen this with Michael, I've seen this with Romeo, yes, and others who put together, who accepted to record selfie videos. Yes, so you can see some of them here at the bottom, I think. Yeah, that's Michael again. Let me see. Yeah, this is Yas from Iraqi Red Crescent. And these are really important. The idea is that it's practitioners talking to practitioners. This is all about peers, you know, so people in the same profession with many of the same challenges, despite, you know, the differences from one country to another, talking to each other. So really, we strongly feel that you are the best ones to explain, like, why you took this course, why you stuck it out and finished it, and why some of you are even asking, you know, ready to for more of this. Having said that, I realize it's also, yes, most folks, you know, are not necessarily into, you know, showing themselves on the internet, so we completely understand that, but it is the most effective way, I believe, of reaching out to your colleagues and to get the message out beyond the environment, you know, beyond your workplace and beyond where you. So it's very simple. If you can, you know, we'll be sharing some instructions, and if you want to take us up on that, we'll do our end of the work, which is to actually make sure, you know, so get the videos, put the videos up, share them, yes, as widely as we can, and encourage you to do the same. And this is you know, we'll be asking you what you actually gained from your participation to try to explain, you know, what is, why this is a process worth spending time on. So, any you know, any feedback on that, yes, is also much appreciated. All right. Any comments or feedback? Let me just check. Okay, from Aaron, perhaps it's the website layout for the onboard page. If we could streamline the information and put perhaps a read more segment under each point, it won't be so daunting to many. Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, I think we may in the next month be able to improve that website layout. Admittedly, the website layout is very rudimentary, so that's a good idea. And something we'd be looking at. Again, if you're getting, you know, if you're going to talk to your colleagues, if you can be on the lookout for that, if they're sort of dropping off the radar when they get to that page, if that's the problem, let's figure out how to fix it. And this is where we need your feedback. So don't hesitate. We need, you know, the feedback in the feedback survey we shared mid-course was overwhelmingly positive, but we do need, you know, your critical feedback as well, just like in the peer review. So just let us know where we need to do better as well. So I think that's it. We're it's now again the top of the hour. Thank you for your patience and thanks for staying on. Romeo, I promise you I will look at your unsubmit problem. Yes. And anybody else with technical issues, just let me know. All right. So thank you again to Michael and to all of you. This has been another amazing experience for me. I've learned so much about, yes, in these last 4 weeks about the work that you do, and wish you all well and look forward to seeing you. This is why we do the commencement. We want to really recognize you know, recognize your work, your effort, and invite others from the Red Cross Red Crescent, from your organizations. But we also have this crazy idea that maybe you'll want to invite some of the people who are supporting you in your private life and who are interested in your work. So from your families and relatives, you know, they are welcome as well. We have a room capacity of 200. So let's see if we can fill up that room. We've reached up. We've had as many as I think 150 people in GoTo training on some courses. But let's see how many we can rack up for this event. And this will also be a great way of getting the presentations from folks. Of listening to, hearing what about the different projects beyond the 3 that you reviewed and your own, to really get a sense, of what else people have been developing and what are their challenges and what are their local solutions and good practices. So thank you all very much. I'm just going to unmute everyone and wish you a pleasant afternoon, evening, or morning, as the case may be.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
All right. Aaron says, if only there was a place page that displays each and every participant's work progress finishing stages 1 to 4. I think it'll serve as a form of encouragement and awareness to participants. Statistics can also be shown in the form of a pie chart. Yes. Yeah, that's an interesting one, Aaron. It's actually so the Scholar team. So Professor Bill Cope and the research team that's working. Right, is working actually precisely on that. So new ways of showing, giving you feedback to tell you how you are doing and how your group, the community that you're part of is doing. So that's actually going to be rolled out in the next few weeks, and we may be able to use that for the September course. So look forward to seeing that. And thanks for that. This is precisely the kind of feedback that that will help us. And I'm actually going to share that one with the Scholar team. So thank you. Great. See you on July 12th and in Scholar before that. And look forward to bombarding you with emails with follow-up instructions and ideas, and on how we can get the word out about the September exercise and get as many people ready and excited about to work together in this way. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good one.